Welcome back. You're with Up South. Let's now return to our top story from Karnataka, where former tourism minister and mining baron G Janardhan Reddy has just stepped out of Bengaluru Central Prison on bail. In fact, he was given bail 3 days back and the orders took 3 days to reach the prison authorities. Let me cut across to my colleague Pratibha Raman, who has been tracking that story even as we play those pictures of Janardhan Reddy out on bail of Bengaluru Central Prison, Parpana Agrahara. Pratibha, you have been speaking to the BJP, a party which was home to G Janardhan Reddy for many years. In fact, he was known as the money bag, which actually kept the BJP in Karnataka going. What are the reactions that you're getting from the BJP to Reddy stepping out now after more than 3 years in jail?
Well, in fact, Sudhir, from the reactions that we get from the BJP, there seems to be a very unclear picture because there seems to be some sort of a confusion of sorts because on one side there is the BJP spokesperson who says that the core committee hasn't really discussed. But on the other side, one of his very close friends as well as well-wisher, Yediyurappa, says that he's very happy that he's out on bail. But then there is no clarity on whether BJP is going to welcome him with open arms. There seems to be some sort of hesitation on that front, especially one with Modi having said that they are going to be presenting a very clean image. Two, Janardhan Reddy may be out on bail, but then he is still not declared innocent. So keeping all this in mind, chances of a political future for Janardhan Reddy seems very, very slim right now.
Right. Pratibha, stay on the line. Let's also go across to Hemanta Kumar, political analyst joining us from Bengaluru. Mr. Hemanta Kumar, it's a very different political world that G Janardhan Reddy is stepping into. A lot has changed in the last 3.5 years that he has been behind bars both in Bengaluru as well as Hyderabad Central Prison. Do you see a political future for him, given the fact that, as Pratibha was pointing out, the BJP has been extremely wishy-washy vis-a-vis Janardhan Reddy?
And very, very narrow. Given the fact that he is just out of the jail on bail and not declared innocent by the court, his charges are very, very severe. And moreover, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has declared that his government is to fight against corruption. Even this, in this background, it is very difficult for Janardhan Reddy to see for himself a political role, a significant political role in the near future. Very difficult.
Mr. Hemant Kumar, what would you say are G Janardhan Reddy's options now? Legally, he's still not out of the woods, as you are pointing out.
Exactly. See, he has to fight the cases in the court. He has to keep appearing for the hearings and trial, and he has to once again re-establish the fact that the charges against him are very severe. It has been made prima facie, it has just been made out that as I said, the charges are very, very severe and very grave. So as of now, his only concentration would be to fight the cases in the court and then not think of any political role for himself, because BJP, it's a changed world. 2013 elections and 2014 elections have changed the dynamics of politics to a very great extent. And as of now, even Janardhan Reddy doesn't have any godfather in BJP as it used to be earlier. So it is very, very difficult for him, except that he has to fight for the cases legally in the court.
Right. Hemanta Kumar and Pratibha Raman, thanks a lot for joining us on that story on G Janardhan Reddy coming out of Central Prison on bail. We'll go back to our story from Hyderabad, where an 11-year-old boy was found murdered inside a children's home in Hyderabad, in Saidabad area of Hyderabad. In fact, this boy had run from his home in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh about 3 years back, and since August 2013, he has been an inmate at this children's home. Over 180 boys live at this home, where the conditions are absolutely terrible.
All the homes of the state to keep certain what we call hazardous things away from the children, because there are the children right from 5 years, 4 years to 16 years, all kept under one place. That should not happen. That should be changed. The system should be changed.
The Child Rights Commission has taken a very serious view of what has happened inside the children's home, where 180 boys actually live in just 2 dormitories. Obviously, the conditions at this children's home in Hyderabad leaves much to be desired. These are children who are not accused of any kind of offense, but are children who are neglected or missing from home, and despite the Supreme Court order that finding missing children should be a top priority for any state government, really nothing much has been done. In this particular case, the father of the child had said that he is not able to come all the way to Hyderabad to take back his child, and the state government was not able to send back the child to Varanasi. Right, let's now go across to Isidore Phillips, child rights activist and also former chairperson of the Child Welfare Committee, Hyderabad and Rangareddy districts. Isidore, I find it quite shocking that even though contact was established with the parents of the child in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, no attempt was made to actually send the child back. The father was unable to come, and here they said that there was no escort to take the child all the way from Hyderabad to Varanasi. This at a time when the Supreme Court has said that the finding missing children should be a top priority for any state government.
I think it's very sad that it happened in a children's home. These are places for care and protection of children. These are places which the Juvenile Justice Act envisages as places where children can be taken care of. They are safer than outside, where there is no exploitation and abuse of children. And for something like this to happen in a children's home, that is gruesome. 2, yes, finding missing children is a priority, and the juvenile justice system, the act envisages that the moment the child comes in contact with the juvenile justice system, right from day one, we have to put in efforts to identify so that the child can go back into the mainstream. Social reintegration and rehabilitation is a priority of the juvenile justice system, and I think this is where the system has failed the child again in terms of identifying the parents. What seems to have been a priority for the juvenile justice system not being operationalized in this particular scenario is again a sad reflection of the status of juvenile justice administration in our country.
Isidore Phillips, let's just look at the condition inside this particular children's home. 180 plus boys living in 2 dormitories, almost like cattle. There is no proper adult supervision, no segregation according to age. I am told that the bathrooms do not even have doors. A home that is supposed to protect and take care of their children while they are missing from home obviously does nothing of the sort. It's actually failing in its duty.
So I think we are looking at care standards. We are looking at care standards within the home. Care standards within the home, if something like that has happened, obviously there have been no adults in the home at all. There are supposed to be under supervision. So supposed to be an adult is supposed to live there in that particular dormitory. Obviously there has been no adult at all in that particular home. So all the adults have been outside that particular home on that particular night. So in other words, points out to a particular reality saying no supervision, totally absent. Point number 2, the number of children versus the dormitories that they've been accommodated in. I think it also points out to a point when we are looking at the number of toilets, the number of dormitories, the number of children that are supposed to be in each of those dormitories, and I think it's extremely sad that children were packed in these particular institutions. But even if they were packed, now the child supposedly was in a sick room in that particular night. How many children were sick, and if they were sick, who was actually taking care of that particular child in that particular night, that they were actually in that particular situation there in that night. And I think there are too many questions and few answers. Exposing the children to a situation where they can be abused, exploited and killed is a very sad situation.
Right. Too many questions, very few answers. Isidore Phillips, thanks a lot for joining us. Probably there is a role for child rights activists like you and the police to get to the bottom of this particular case. Obviously, that has to serve as a lesson for child rights in India in the future. Thanks a lot for joining us there from Hyderabad. Now, a day after the Supreme Court asked N. Srinivasan to choose between a post in the BCCI and ownership of Chennai Super Kings, Srinivasan spent the day at Sringeri in Karnataka, probably praying to the gods. Rohini Swami sent us this report from Sringeri.
The writing is on the wall. A day after Supreme Court's landmark judgment in the IPL case, which struck down Amendment 6.2.4, and opened up the BCCI to a judicial panel monitored revamp, the man in the eye of the storm, N. Srinivasan, was still defiant. Sources claimed he saw the verdict as a clean chit and was all ready to file his nominations to fight the very elections he was technically barred from. It seemed Srini was all set and fight for the top post of the BCCI again. But a closer look at the order and that ambition is crushed. The order makes it clear that no one, including Srinivasan, with any commercial interest in BCCI events can fight these elections. And importantly, it goes on to say that these individuals cannot fight the elections till they have these interests or till the new committee decides their suitable punishment, whichever is later. Now the committee has 6 months to give its report. Unlikely it will happen in the 6 weeks the BCCI has to hold its elections in. Therefore, it quite literally is checkmate Srinivasan. The doors for a comeback are shut, at least for these elections.
BCCI or is it CSK for you? What do you think you will decide? It is temple now, okay? It is temple, allow me that. Okay?
Even as he mulls defeat, the embattled cricket strongman was seeking divine blessings. He paid an early morning visit to the famous Sringeri Mutt in Karnataka, but refused to answer any questions on what he'll do next.
I'm not speaking. I will not speak. I'll stand here till evening also. Doesn't matter. I won't speak. Okay?
Mr. N. Srinivasan decided to remain silent in spite of the repeated questions that the media posed to him whether he would choose between Chennai Super Kings or the BCCI. Mr. N. Srinivasan was here in Sringeri at a temple for a particular ceremony. He completed his complete ceremonies, but he refuses to answer any questions.
Srinivasan even got angry at pointed questions by headlines today and pushed a microphone away. Remaining silent on the road ahead for him. Sports Bureau headlines today.
And finally, Michelle Obama has a gift waiting for her all the way from Karimnagar district in Telangana. That's going to be a sari which can be packed into a matchbox, and in fact it can even pass through a needle. Let's leave you with these visuals that will be gifted to Michelle Obama.